Okay, so that little nice music interlude that we got from Sirenscape's Curse of Strahd Into the Mists was not a bad little starting point for us all.
Very melodic.
Very melodic, yes. So, this is our introduction to who we have for tonight. And I will start with Ariadne at the table.
I'm currently playing a druid named Thala. I am a tree speaker. Originally I set out on this path to gain stories for my tree, but it's turned out now that I've become a not necessarily willing participant in a war, but definitely willing in the sense that I wanna fight the bad people and stop them from taking over. Like a lot of the characters in this storyline, Thala's having to grow up and become a bit more serious about the world. It's less about gaining the stories and more about actually walking the journey.
And surviving.
Yeah. That's exactly it.
Because once we end tonight's session, the rest of the story, phase 3, is more about survival than it is anything else.
So, on that note, if we don't have other players, I'd like to officially add sorrow to my seasonal aspect.
You can. And online we have M.
Hello. I was going to say Zal's probably going to be the first one to die if it's a matter of survival with my, 36 hit points.
Thala will watch out for you.
I actually have decent AC. I actually wear armor, which is funny.
Well, you're already 11th level, so you might have more survivability.
Maybe.
Didn't you put nice. A bunch of XP into intellect at one point? So now you need to put it into less squishability.
No, I got a circlet of intelligence, which artificially raises my int to +4. I've been trying to raise my wisdom so I can cast better wizard spells. But yes, I am Zal. I'm your ever-lovable cleric wizard.
Failed ranger.
I don't know if you could hear that.
I could, that was quite clear.
We can always hear the failed ranger part because we're so used to hearing it that even when he doesn't say it, we think it anyway.
We think it anyway. It is there corporally. I have all the animals. And we are well, I guess about to find out what is truly happening in the world, and I may or may not have a boyfriend.
Well, at least you found love before it came to the final journey.
Yeah, before everything went to shit, yeah.
Yep. You've got something to live for now.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's the bright side.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing we have online is Josh.
Hello. I am Josh. I play Chauvel. The Paladin.
I think we need more A's in Paladin.
Well, I mean, he's about to get another level, so that's
two more A's added in there. So I play Chauvel, who is Ow. Who is a fire Janazi.
And currently being beaten up by Mini Paladin.
Yeah, pretty much. Always a good bit of fiery temper, but always willing to do the word of two back.
Which may become a little more than Chauvel is willing to do shortly.
Yeah, because I do believe... Isn't Tubac one of the gods that wants to genocidally end everybody?
Raj is going to bend a little bit.
This
session, I have a feeling.
I was going to say, there might be a really big step for you coming up.
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay. And just managing to join in during the introductions, we have Rory.
Woo!
Yes, I am Rory, or player of Ilios, the ever so absent ranger.
Only missed one session, so not too bad.
Still 50% absent.
Current stats, yes.
What's with all of our rangers and, not being rangers?
I don't know. Not being rangers might be a matter of opinion.
Ilios is still my first character from my very first campaign. Just all my other groups just kept on falling apart.
Which
Stuck with
says
him.
it suggests your survivability is rather high.
But now, yes, but until either death or a conclusive story, I'm not going to give up on him.
Well, look at it this way. Part of the story completes tonight as the investigation phase of all the characters comes to an end as being their highest priority.
Does this mean we're moving into combat phase?
You are moving into a combat world war phase.
You're just in time for the war, which is really impeccable timing considering how squishy our cleric... She cleric?
Cleric wizard.
Yeah, cleric wizard.
Necromancer.
I keep forgetting about whether or not she's a ranger or a failed ranger, because now that she's a cleric, she's a better ranger than she's ever
before.
been.
I've actually killed these with my arrows. I'm a cleric more than I was a ranger.
Yeah.
No backward compliments there whatsoever.
No.
Not double-edged knife right to the heart there, Ariana.
Well, I've got like 3 swords on the wall that would fit that description right now, so...
Yeah, I know.
And technically, you guys now have 2.
Technically.
You just got to get them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be the
By the
that's
way,
gonna be the fun
don't
part with a
actually use
2-year-old.
them on each other.
So to recap the story for you up to this point, they had started out as Mongolian-style horsemen from the steppes of Ethengar, which quickly devolved
They being...
the party. That was how the party started.
Okay, not Thala?
Not Thala.
Okay,
Thala
cool.
didn't join him at that point.
No.
And,
Okay, so we're going right back to the beginning.
And then they quickly devolved into murder family. Oh my god, there's necromancers involved, murder family.
So are we talking murdering their own families or murdering other people's families?
That totally wasn't my fault, by the way.
Well,
Just
Em's
saying.
character did murder her uncle. And then
I
in the
did.
backstory, Josh's character murdered Em's parents.
Oh, I see. So the necromancer's family got murdered by the rest of the party?
By one member of the party.
I thought you said...
Just
Josh.
by Chauvel.
In his backstory.
Oh, okay. So Chauvel murdered her parents,
Yep.
but didn't she murder her uncle?
Yes.
So not entirely.
But she murdered her uncle in story.
Okay, alright.
There's a slight difference.
I'm getting a bit confused here. Happy to move on.
And
Just murder all around. That's all you need to care about.
and then there
People
was
died.
Then there was this fluctuating family tree with this dwarf, elf, bard that would become a Disney princess and a
The goth Disney princess.
yes, and did some of his bardic ability through sarcasm.
I think sarcasm, bardic ability is actually a very legitimate way of causing, what is it, mimicry? The maiming mimicry.
Yeah, it does work quite well actually, because there is the cutting remarks style
That's it.
play.
Yep.
So, after going through some of the shenanigans of learning what Galantry's really like compared to what they were brought up to hate, M managed to find some time to befriend a white dragon with jazz wings. I wouldn't say the rest of the party did, but most of the party found the dragon as an annoyance to begin with.
Oh, no coffee for All of you except Sal.
And after they found the dragon annoying, then Ariadne came in and started playing it. I'm not sure if it made it less annoying or more.
I suspect more annoying. But everybody was awakened by then because of all the coffee.
They were. And there was many coffee incidents in the story, including a axbeak that didn't sleep for I think it was for a week.
See, that was...
And after the week, it became a homicidal bird.
That wasn't me that caused the bird to go homicidal. How many villagers did Zal's axbeak kill, though?
The axbeak didn't kill many villagers that you know of, but the pixies you gave the coffee to did kill quite a few villagers.
Okay, I see. All right.
So trading the coffee to the pixies wasn't really a great idea, but you know that in retrospect.
I'm hearing that this party is good at killing things, and this might be good for us when we come into the war that we're heading into.
And then you managed to walk off with Gem protecting the Elven Kingdom of Wenda, and then forgot all about it because a god kept making you forget what happened
Not
every time you thought
necessarily
about it.
forgot. In Calcricus's point of view, she's strategically not brought it up to anybody because she figures it's safer that way. She still has them, doesn't she?
She does.
How did she get the second one?
Given to by a party member.
Okay, alright. Yeah.
And then one of them got stuck on the World Mountain in the middle of Ethengar on
Okay.
top. So she has heard of where the third of the 5 gems are.
Yeah, she should probably go and get that.
Not as easy to get to because...
Different game.
No, you need to have support of a shaman to take you.
Different game.
Well, M's character can technically be that shaman.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Alright.
If he believes he's up to the task of taking someone into the lands of the dead.
Actually, yeah, no, that could be phase 5.
Or you never know, you could walk out with the entire party members undeadified. She learned.
Yeah, she learned how to do that. Alrighty.
Well, Dracolich is a form of dragon.
I don't think Calcrix wants Dracolich, though. Fairly sure she wants more pretty colours, not bones.
Okay, since that point, you managed to meet up with Redrian, who was the mortal representative of the god Benikanda, that none of the other gods seem to be able to hear about, interact with, or know about.
Is he technically a god of technology?
He is. He crashed into this planet 30,000 years ago. And 3,000 years ago, the Blackmorians, using the technology of his crashed starship, almost blew the planet up.
That sounds like it would have been fun.
And at that point, the gods deemed technology evil and changed how science works.
Thus, the eradication of technology in this current realm.
Yeah, including gunpowder does not work anymore.
It's kind of sad.
Though
Fireworks are gone from the world.
they do have stuff made from the blood of the dead dragon gods that works like gunpowder, but is a limited resource.
That sounds somewhat creepy.
It is. That is from the region.
We don't have gunpowder for your fireworks, but I have the blood of a dead dragon that I can explode and make glittery firebombs with.
This is the region it comes from?
Is that Ethengar?
No, that is called the Savage Coast,
Okay.
which is along the other side.
Did you want to show the camera that book?
Let's see you guys. It's also known as Red Steel, is another name for that region. Not quite like Blue Steel, but hey, I'm sure a Zoolander reference works well there. In that Red Steel and the after effects of using it as gunpowder, it makes a toxic magic cloud.
Okay.
And it has habit of cursing those who come in contact with it.
But this was like centuries ago?
Oh no, this is stuff that happens now.
Oh,
So
this is stuff that's happening now.
it's why people don't import the red steel into the region,
Okay,
because no one wants known cursed items brought here.
So what you're going through right now, that's just things that are relevant to what's happening.
Right, relevant to it based on the storylines that have been told in all 3 games.
Okay, alright, yep, that's okay.
Okay, so Redrian had tasked you with finding out about cults, technology, governmental policy changes, religious policy changes, things that would let you know who the movers and shakers of the disruption to the world's peace was caused by. One thing that was discovered as the catalyst to the upcoming war was the goddess Alphatia, who is the patron of the Alphatian Empire and the patron of peace, stirred up her entire nation to go to war against Galantry. So that is a major change in direction. She is supported by Ixion, who is also known as Tubak, the Lifebringer, the Lawbringer, which is who Zal, Josh's character, follows, and has
Cheval.
Yeah, Cheval. Yeah. Getting words.
If I grind?
I'm okay if you grind. And he was declaring that the region you guys know is your home get leveled and everyone exterminated, so no one knows the name of the gods of Galantry. Even though Galantry says it doesn't follow gods, you still understand that there are gods in their pantheon that protect the people. And the opposing gods are trying to stop the annihilation of the region. And to mix with all that, you've got a third faction. So the first faction is the Fellowship of the Star. Second faction is... Now remembering the names of all the people, my brain has gone, I thought I remembered it all. And then it forgot it all.
Down if you need me to...
The different factions?
Yeah. Alright, give me a sec. Now I'm gonna actually cheat and go to my Tuesday book because by Friday came around, I went, I'm not writing this all down again. I'm just gonna refer to my Tuesday book.
That's fair.
Okay, so we had 3 factions.
Yeah.
I have lots of maps drawn here as well because it's like Alphatia's attacking the Galantrians, the Haldanic attacking Aphasia, and Thyatra attacking Alphasia as well.
Mm-hmm.
But let's go to... So, we have the Fellowship of the Star.
That's correct.
I believe that's us.
No, the Fellowship of the Star are the ones who are protecting the region against the Alphatian Empire.
Yeah, so that has Raphael Arendelle, and they are sworn to protect Galantry.
Inside that, they also have Rad, Vanya, Ka, which is Ka is the Tyrannosaurus Rex god.
Because if you're gonna follow a god, it should be a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Irindal is the one who uses the Cheshire Cat as his symbol, which the party may remember is the last thing they remember before they lose their memories.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got Asterius, the god of thieves and the moon, Ranthos, the god of fire, and Koratiku, the spider god of trickery.
Let's just pretend we don't have that one.
So opposing them is the Ring of Fire, which is Ixion, Valerius, the goddess of passion, Ilsandul, and Alphatia. So of the 4 of those, Alphatia is quite far the weakest of the 4. Each of the other 3 are some of the most powerful gods of the setting.
And then you've got the Brotherhood of the Shadow.
And then you have the Brotherhood of the Shadow, who are messing with everyone. With Atzantiotl, the bane of most of the known world. He is a corrupter of everyone. Also with him is Hel, the Norse goddess of reincarnation of evil spirits to make them relive their life. And followed by that is Alphax, the destroyer of the Alphatian people. He was the rumored to be the king that destroyed the plane of existence that the Alphatians first came from.
And that's who the master also serves, is that correct?
It's-
the guy who's...
It's believed he serves one of those three.
Yep. And he's the one who's taken over already, what, a third of the country?
No, he's taken over one of 6 major cities,
Okay.
and that's roughly close to the amount of space he's taken up of Darrakan, taken up a sixth of it. You've been told that the nation of Darrakan is the keystone to the region. If Darrakan falls, so too will the rest of the region. The elves of Elfheim have chosen to drain their sacred relics of life, which is the Tree of Life. That is the fundamental holy item of the people of Elfheim and most elves in general. It was discovered that the Master was seeking to reach these trees, and in doing so, he would, if he takes control of one of them, eradicate all elves in the instant he does so. And at the same time, he'll achieve godhood. So that means that the Master himself is 30 plus levels, and maybe very close to actually being a god himself right now. He would be considered unkillable by mortals.
Why are we going to war with him?
He's gone to war with Darrakan,
Yeah.
not
no,
necessarily
I know why
going to
we're
war with you. So that is a good grounding of what's happening. You also have a bunch of elemental warriors who escaped from Alphasia before the war and set up their various groups all around the northern reaches, which you guys each managed to get some affiliation with.
We befriended them all.
Meaning that you now have 4 major organizations who are chosen not to participate in a war of annihilation. And as the shock troops of Alphatia, that did delay the war by about 4 or 5 years. So does that give you guys a good rundown of the last 80 odd, 90 odd sessions?
Yes, from me.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, good as I can interpret it, so...
And so in this part of the story, you guys had managed to discover that Raksasha was assisting a city governor, magistrate, and the magistrate, thinking ahead, had put in some contingency so he shouldn't be able to fall to corruption very easily. And it looked like a very semi-beneficial nature, except people were afraid to commit crimes in his region because of it. So after reporting that, you do realize that there are quite a few people are going to keep their eyes on the area, but aren't going to get involved unless something goes wrong. So it's the hoping to see how much benefit they can get while everything else is happening. Then you also managed to find out where Pilfering's home was. And after finding where his people originally crashed, you also found where his people, where those who survived crashed. And you spent last session taking Pilfering home. So, I guess at this point, does Zal have anything she wants to say to the child before you leave him for the last time?
Sorry, Mom, just give me like 2 seconds.
Is Josh free to do so?
Sorry? No. We're just about to feed me or put her to bed.
Give me 10 seconds and I'll finish doing the milk, and then Thala will... I'm at 50 degrees.
Okay.
On my way to 64.
In which case, I'll ask Rory if he wants to say anything to this little goblinoid who is apparently over 500 years old, and the only reason he hasn't aged is the gods cursed his people not to be able to develop in the while they're outside their regions of technology.
Also, to give you a bit of context, we were given guardianship of this child to find him the home that we're finally currently at. I don't know if that helps.
Honestly, I have no idea what to say. Probably just pat him on the head and say, "Good little goblin."
If you watch The Mandalorian, it is basically the equivalent of Grogu. Older in his intelligence and age than he's able to express in his body. So you patting him on the head, he's probably looking up at you going, I'm pretty sure he doesn't realise that I'm 5 times this guy's age, but he means well. So I'm just going to smile.
More likely 100 times.
Yeah, yep. Thala.
What would Thala say?
So Thala's she carved a representative of each party member out because she understands that he's not going to grow older until he spends time at this village, but she wants some way for him to remember her by. And she also, with the help of Drazzle, does a really lifelike sketch that she puts in a frame to go into his room so that he knows what we look like as he grows up. And she also leaves a letter for him saying, when you are old enough to comprehend this, we had you in our care, we realised you didn't really understand who we were to you, but to us you were someone who was in our charge, and we appreciate that you crashed on this planet and then you essentially became frozen and you're not able to communicate with anyone for 400 years, and that must have been incredibly lonely, and we hope our companionship helped ease that isolation and that loneliness, and that one day you'll be able to find us again. And I leave her Calcrix's details. Calcrix's details, my details, and I believe I got given a little black box last session, so that if Pilfering ever wants to contact me, he can.
Yep.
So I put in there, I've been given a little black box. If you ever need me, you use that little black box and I will come and find you wherever you are. So I give him the little toys. I do a little bit of druid magic to make them dance. Give him a hug very tearfully. Kind of like giving that like one final hug, and I'm like, right, I've got to go, don't look back, and then sort of, make myself turn around, like, keep going this way, and then give up about halfway through, go back, give him one last hug, and then finally leave with the party. Probably because Cheval's grabbed me by the collar and just started dragging me in the other direction. In an affectionate but Cheval type way. Only as a paladin can. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll see if we've managed to get a Em or Josh back.
They're dealing with their own pilfering, probably.
I'm back.
Okay, so how does Zal deal with saying goodbye to pilfering?
I'll just say I'm glad that we could return him to his people, and I hope one day their curse is lifted and that he'll be able to grow and communicate and possibly find our ancestors. If the world slides along, but I don't say that hard.
Well, considering magic doesn't really work in this crater that you're in, there's a good chance that whatever curse is on him may also not work here. Does Chauvel add anything?
He's not. He's just feeding me off.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I'm sure he will think of something he would like to add when he gets the chance. But the goblins do, well, his people, even though they look like goblins, they're not really goblins. They do say that they will take care of him and help him to learn what has happened.
I can't believe it, but sometimes even a mug's too heavy for me.
It is a big mug.
Normal size mugs even. Do you want anything with that to eat? Like, do you want food, snacks, sugar?
Snack of some kind.
Nuts with tiny Oreos?
Sure.
Need to use up those, so if you're okay with that.
So as far as you can see, he looks like he's happy amongst his own people.
So we get on our griffins and head back?
You get on your griffins and start to fly away.
Because don't we have a date to keep in 2 weeks?
You do. Less than 2 weeks, actually.
Yes.
So I believe you're aiming to get back to the magistrate by the 17th.
We have to get back to Nemiston, is that correct?
Mhm.
Because either Chauvel or Villius signed up some poor bystander on the street. Chauvel signed up a bystander on the street and turned them in for vagrancy, so now we have to kind of represent them.
Well, Chauvel signed up to represent the guy. I can't remember who turned him in.
I think, to be honest, it doesn't really matter. We walked out of the courthouse, picked some poor person who had was doing nothing wrong, pulled them in for vagrancy just so we could get a look at the courthouse, and now they've had to sit in the jail for the last 2 weeks while they wait for their court date and for Chauvel to show up to represent him. Because, you know, that's what you do.
Okay, so is that what everyone wants to do? Head to Nemiston?
Can we also, since Chauvel's not here, say that we've reported an update to Redrian that Pilfering's guardianship has been passed on to his...
You can't do it until you leave the valley.
Yeah, obviously. I was just thinking since we're flying back, that'll tie up that end. So that we don't forget about that detail and that we've ticked that box and told him that we've done that thing. If that makes sense? Otherwise later you'll go, did you tell Redrian? And we can say, we did. Right, that's not...
But the twist that you did find interesting was that it's believed the Pilfering's people came here to rescue Redrian.
But they don't want us telling Redrian that.
But the problem with them is the timestamp of the SOS is way in their future.
So should we be telling Redrian that then?
Basically, the ship crashed in their future, and Redrian somehow ended up in the past.
I'm guessing because he's fidgeting with time like Drazzle. We know Drazzle is tampering with temporal magic. So my assumption would be that that's how Redrens ended up in the past.
And it could quite easily be Redren's people came here to rescue Pilferin's people.
I'm gonna say, since we are waiting a little bit on Josh coming back, can I borrow the staff off Cheval and talk to Redren?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to borrow the staff and talk to Redren. As soon as we're in a staff-happy messenger place.
You find a nice quiet grove to call him.
Please tell me there's not a dial tone, because I really hope staffs are more interesting than that.
Well, he's
I'll
does
be
have...
back in a minute, Martin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or maybe a while.
Yeah, I
Understand.
thought since you're putting Mia down, we might quickly do this.
So yes, it does seem to have technology in the staff, so
Okay, yeah.
which is why it's made a lot of those style tones in the past.
Oh, okay, alright, yep. Do I get through?
You get through. There's greetings, Thala. How can I help you?
I'm just reporting in on behalf of our group. I'm sure you remember young Pilfering, or technically old Pilfering, was under our guardianship, and we have stumbled across some information that led us to a village up in the mountains, which turned out to be the location of where his people are. And I thought that you would find this interesting because of the conversations that we then had with these people and how they came to be in the village that they're in right now.
He's quite curious.
So we, you've been asking us to find technology that's related to your ship coming apart. In our initial searches for Pilfering's people, we went to a crash site, it appears to be, and we found a crashed spaceship there, but it was deserted, although it did still seem to be somewhat functioning. And from there, after a number of weeks of travel, we came across some halflings in the village of Selenkia?
The major city of Selenica.
Selenka, is it?
Selenica.
Selenica. In Selenica. And these halflings mentioned that they recognised Pilfering as one of the people that they tell legends and folklores about, residing up in the Karamikos Mountains. God, I hope I'm not dooming his people to Redren. I'm going with my instincts that Redren's a good guy and he's not gonna annihilate these people. Having recognised Pilfering as being one of these unique peoples, because as you know, he's not a goblin, even though he's most likely related to it. He is distinctly different. When we arrived up in the mountains, we found that there was a village people, and they told a story of how their ship crashed and how they ended up in the Karamikos Mountains, because that's where their what are the little escape pod ended up landing. They had no notion that their ship had actually survived and was somewhere else. So they just set up where their safety escape pod had landed. But what they found was that they've kind of been frozen in time. But the more interesting thing was they had come by this way in response to a distress beacon from someone we believe is likely to be you. But the distress beacon was sent far into the future.
The timestamp was of far in the future.
Right.
Which meant they received it long enough in the past to be able to get here.
Yes. Yeah, well, I explain that bit. I am a druid. I'm not completely sure. Like, the only reason I believe in spaceships is because Redrian's talked about it. We've then seen one. And then, we've seen Pilfering make motherboards, even though we don't know that they're motherboards. That's what Pilfering's been trying to make ever since he came. He's gotten all the forks and things and twisted them into, the
Circuits.
best... Yeah, circuit boards. That's it. So, yeah, I'll explain that part to him.
Well, he says it seems to be as he may have suspected, which he didn't want to say earlier. His people may be some of Redrian's ancestors. As such, Redrian might need to leave them to their devices, lest he affect his own future.
Well, it's possibly good that you know where to avoid. We've left Pilfering with them, in the hopes that he's in good hands. And we're now about to head back to Nemiston, where... How long do we have between Nemiston, the date, and now?
Well, the date you left Pilfering was the 10th, and you're due at Nemiston on the 17th. And it's at least 3 to 4 days flight.
To get there?
Yeah.
Okay. Because there was an ultimatum trouble, but that would probably be too long a diversion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're heading back to Nemiston because of the poor fellow we left in custody back there. We've made a promise to represent him. But once we represent him, we would be free to continue on in your service. Is there anything that you'd like us to do in the meantime?
Well, he says, think of anything you might need to help you get ready for the upcoming wars.
So perhaps maybe a shopping spree in Salonika before we head back to Nemiston to buy weapons, more weapons, and then maybe some weapons.
Well, he also suggests figuring out what sort of upgrade you want to have on your dominions.
I know that's what he meant. I just was trying to be funny. And as usual, not too funny. But I try anyway, which hopefully makes me one of those lovable losers rather than one of those awkward arsehole ones.
It's the hustle that counts.
Yeah, that's right. I made the effort.
He did make the effort.
Has Redrian met Vilius? Does he know of him joining our group?
I believe he has.
Am I saying that right, Rory?
Vilios.
Vilios. Okay. If
So it's os, not
Os.
is.
Is. Yeah.
Vilios.
Vilios. Yep. Because it's important to get character names right. Martin will mispronounce it every way from Sunday, but he does that to everyone. It's an equal opportunity mispronunciation. If you correct him enough, he does tend to figure it out. You also mispronounce. Pardon?
I tend not to be too
Precious?
nitpicky about not too nitpicky about mispronunciations.
Yeah. Yep. That's so. If Redrian hasn't met Vilios,
I believe he has.
oh, okay. In that case,
I
skip
said
that.
a bit earlier.
Yep. Okay. Sorry. I will sign off,
Mm-hmm.
and does that mean we're going to move into a planning type session now, where we upgrade classes
if M comes
and
back,
things?
and Josh, that they still have to deal with the what's happening at the trial.
Trial, yes. But in between, since it's just us two, is that kind of, are we looking at our resources and what our upgrades are going to be?
Well, you can.
so that by the time we hit next session, we're more capable of dealing with what we encounter.
So, Rory, to give you an idea of what that means is next session you will be 11th level.
So Vilios gets an upgrade.
Right.
And this is the shortest level for this group.
Do we
shortest sessions for levels for this group to get to level 11.
Do we get money to spend?
Well, you will get a bunch of money to spend, but you
Right.
also have to spend that on your dominions.
And when you say dominions, what do you mean?
So each of you has been granted parcels of land to build on.
Yep.
And if you've built nothing on there, your dominion is a bit of dirt.
Right, so that's at 8 kilometres squared,
Yep.
or hex.
8 mile hex.
Yeah, 8 mile hex. Why miles, really?
Unfortunately, that's the entirety of this setting was done in miles, which is frustrating on my part.
Alright, if I keep saying kilometres, just ignore me. Just don't correct me.
Yeah, it's the Americanism of
Yep.
the original publications.
I'm born in Australia. So I'm next to an elven forest. Can you show me on a map? If you can't, that's fine.
I can.
Yep, where my square of elven forest is. And has Vilios been given the opportunity to choose where his 8 mile hex is?
He will get an opportunity to
He will now?
No, I don't believe he has.
Yep, so you get to choose your plot of land.
Okay.
I believe Martin's pulling up maps now.
Okay.
Might need my other glasses. So do we know where my hex is precisely?
It's either in the Borderlands here or
Yep.
the Borderlands here. So it's
Can
either
you-
near Nemiston or between Fenhold and...
Can you zoom out and
Oh, yeah.
show me where the master is right now?
Master is over here.
So master's there. Yep. And where am I?
One of these regions here.
Okay. I want to pick a hex the furthest away from the master.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to use it to, can I?
So you could take one of these ones here.
Yep. I'm gonna take the one right up next to. What are those on the other side of that red border? What is that?
That's
Is that
Elfheim.
Mount? Okay.
This you can't claim Elfheim.
No.
with,
Is Elfheim friendly or unfriendly?
Well, it's the Elven Nation.
Okay. I want the one right up next to the Elven Nation and on Selenica's. Yep, that one there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's possible, but what I want to do is build some kind of nursery type community where we can. I don't know if we'll be able to plant trees of life and things like that because I think they'll have to be hidden.
Well, they're taking all the trees of life out of the known world.
Yeah, yep. Is there a way that I can support that with my little plot of land?
Not necessarily. You wouldn't want to connect to it because that will be what draws the master.
I see. Okay, so not a good idea.
You could do something that's not directly related to the Tree of Life, yes, but if you do something connected to the Tree of Life, you become a target.
What about just training druids in combat?
That's something you can do as well.
Yep. So that there's more people to fight against the master.
Mm-hmm.
And who could possibly heal? Is that within the realms of druids?
It is in the realms of druids. It's in the realms of a lot of casters.
Yep.
Healing can be either science or magic,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes both.
Could I work on trying to develop that kind of, like, set up a school? I don't know if I've got time for all of this too. I don't know how feasible it is. You'll, like, develop the land.
You'll have months,
Okay.
not years.
Well, you know how that montage scene that is absolutely unpredictable that they do in The Mandalorian, where in just one day they teach villagers how to absolutely and competently repel attackers, even though there's no way a villager could learn that kind of discipline in just 24 hours. Can I do that kind of montage, but with druids? teaching them maybe I could set up maybe mass producing healing potions and having druids working towards collecting and getting those things together to do that. Does that?
It does. It just costs a lot of money to do that.
Do I have that kind of money?
Well, you could, but you'd have a smaller base.
Would that help the war effort?
Possibly. Again, depends on how powerful a healing potion you make. The smallest healing potion is costs 25 gold a piece to make.
Well, could you give me an example of how other people would be developing their plots of land?
They could be putting a building on it.
Why would you put a building on it? Like,
because then you've got some place to actually rest on your own land and start doing stuff.
Okay, well, I was hoping to do more than just build a house.
You can build a school. You can build a equivalent of a pub or a tannery or build a mine.
So you're like setting up a village?
Basically, you're setting up a settlement.
Okay.
Whatever you have and whatever you build on there is what starts the settlement.
Well, I don't see any reason why I can't start up a settlement that trains druids and teaches them how to do healing potions and to find healing potions and to make them. And surely, even though they get sold at 25 gold a potion, when a druid goes out to the forest and collects the things, and a druid's out promoting the growth of the herbs.
They generally get sold at double that. Generally, it takes half of the cost in material and half of the cost in time.
Carry on. Quiet voice. He's making my thinking really hard.
I know, he does it around this time most days.
I would like to work towards doing that, even if I don't quite get the mass producing of healing potions. I figure if I'm going to start a settlement, being a druid and seeing all the hurt in the world, I would like to promote some of the healing. Can I put aside a section for Calquix's coffee plants to start growing coffee and maybe turning those coffee plants into a combination coffee healing potion like we discussed ages and ages ago?
Yes, that is possible.
Yeah. So I might refine my development towards that then. We're going to be mass planting coffee beans and imbuing them with healing capacity. What you doing? Yeah.
He's just getting a drink.
Yeah.
So what would Ilvius Vilius believe he would want to build?
Being a ranger who's very passionate about, say, creatures and animals, possibly make a plot of land or almost like a sanctuary of
Collect
sorts.
all the animals.
Pretty much.
I'm
Make
behind
lots
this
of furry
idea.
creature friends.
You'd be guaranteed that when Thala visits, she runs after all the animals to cuddle them and they all run away.
And every now and then when Zal visits, some of the little furry animals have disappeared.
Yeah.
What kind of
But they will
animals?
come back if they ever need.
Unfortunately,
just
she does.
Animals of all sorts.
She does have a carnivorous axe beak.
Yeah.
So-
This is just a
So think ostrich
Really
with a bone that can slice through things.
A bone or a beak?
Its beak is basically a big bone that can cut through things.
Okay. Have you got a picture of an axe beak, or is that not something easily found?
Could possibly be found depending on artists. But what else would a Vilius like to do?
That is still a plan in progress. But for now, just build a form of animal sanctuary and maybe just a little hut on that sanctuary.
You like to live off the land.
As rangers do.
It sounds too much like camping. Thala's fairly sure that she needs a caravan for that. Actually, she's a druid. She sleeps in trees.
So that's
Much
a
different than sleeping in a tent.
No, not really.
so that's a look of an axe beak with a as a mount.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Alright. Can everyone else see that as well?
Yeah, it's linked into the
Oh, okay. So, where does it show?
one.
Oh, down in that bottom corner there.
I can
Oh,
swap
that's
it
cool,
around.
cool. Is it that small, though?
That is bigger than a person.
No. Is the picture that small, though, on people's screens?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it is fairly small on my screen, but I can still see it clearly enough.
Ah, yeah.
I can change it.
Oh, I see. Well, that's clever. I'm guessing you just switched screens around?
Switch view. I have a view set up for each thing that has where the screens in different spaces.
I have a deeper appreciation of your view setup then. So I use my plot of land to...
So I can set it up so I can focus on different things.
So that's her axe beak.
That is her axe beak.
And then she's got a griffin
She's got a griffin
and a horse. Is that
and
right?
a horse. Yes.
And considering that you're a ranger, Vilius, what animals do you have already?
Just one, a orc named Virgil.
I really like this.
And at least with, having a hawk, I can kind of use him as a spy from time to time. Because he's just an unsuspecting bird.
And there's going to be occasions, I guarantee you, where Thala's going to turn into a hawk and keep Virgil company. Because she can.
Good stuff.
That's what she
Good
does.
stuff. Virgil could use a company. Probably gets bored of just a very quiet, recluse ranger.
I'm sure that he loves you for who you are. Otherwise
I'm
he'd
sure
leave.
he does. I'm sure he does, but it doesn't mean he can't be bored from time to time.
That's true. I'm pretty sure our cat gets bored with us a lot. There's times where he's like, I want to play. And we're like, no, we want to sleep. It's 4 a.m. That'll be him.
It's the exact same story as my cat. He's just going through his juvenile years.
This one's got no excuse. He's 10.
Yeah, mine's got all the excuse. He's only about 16 months.
Oh, wait until he hits 2. Jeez, you're in for a ride. It's the same with toddlers.
I regret getting a cat, and I've only had him since he was 3 months old.
It does get better. It gets a lot better. What's up?
Okay, so your character will also have 7 followers of a choice between basic, seasoned, and expert. But you will have to pay for them. So if you want a basic one, that's 500. If you want a seasoned one, that is 2,000. And if you want an expert one, that is 5,000.
Alright, I'll just go with the basic one to start off with.
Well, you will have 7 of them, which you'll need to figure out what they are.
Right.
And you will have 100,000 gold to spend on your homestead and your followers.
Right.
Is that going to be the same for
Yeah.
everyone?
That is the same for everyone.
I'll get you to repeat that when I'm not patting the cat.
So technically you will have enough to buy decent people if you wish.
Alright, well, I'll go with, instead of going basic, I'll go with seasoned.
Okay.
Varieties.
Okay, so that means you've definitely got lots to spend on your buildings.
Right. Yeah. Probably wind up building a barn-like structure. That's kind of like a den for the animals and a small hut for personal usage.
Barn, some pastures, hay, lots of hay.
Exactly. I might as well just get like a little proper sanctuary farm-like thing going.
Whenever
Maybe down the hill and
Sorry, I was going to say, whenever I've got enough money to donate to, like, there's a couple of sanctuaries around Canberra that'll take, like, horses and donkeys and things like that. They always want money for hay.
Yeah, fair enough. Oh, especially with larger animals like donkeys and horses, it's rather expensive to keep them adequately fed.
It is.
And that's why I like small animals like cats, as much of a demonic crack goblins as they can be.
Oh, yeah.
They're rather cheap at times.
And they make up for it in purring and cuteness and
Puddles.
moments of joy.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, as long as you know how to sort of tolerate the very crack gremlin side, and yeah, they're very lovable.
You just got to be patient. As they grow up, they do, like, by about 2.5 years old, he'll be over all of that. And when you consider that they're indoors a lot of the time, going from becoming domesticated as they are, it's actually quite a feat to have them poo indoors in the right spot.
Yeah, well, on good weather days, Horace, my cat, he's outside for usually a good portion of it. He usually freely comes in and out.
Awesome name, by the way.
Just be aware that ACT has a no roaming cat policy. So
it depends on where you are.
They've done it all over the ACT.
Oh, have they changed it to everywhere?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which means
from what I remember reading about that new policy, it was any cat born on or after the 1st of June 2022, completely forbidden. Any cat born before that is allowed to actually, more or less be outside.
That's good to know. Not that Therion's never been outside.
It doesn't stop these Alice people from doing stuff, though.
But,
well, good thing Horace doesn't really leave the property all too much.
Yeah.
But as he usually goes is maybe the bushes just outside, just up past my property line.
If we could guarantee that Therion wouldn't go outside of our backyard, we would. We'd like to get an enclosure for him one day, but we're on pensions.
Yeah. See, I wanted to do that for Horace, but like even good quality second-hand ones are just too pricey.
Yeah, too expensive right now, and I'm not handy enough to do it myself. I will eventually get there one day.
Yeah. And part of the reason why I let the Horace sort of free roam outside is because I've got a whole abundance of physical injuries from a massive car accident. I'm missing an arm from it. Back injuries, pelvic injuries. So even on these chillest days, I cannot keep up with him on play.
Yeah. So he gets out and he gets some exercise. Yeah.
And he has, and you know, nature is a good stimulant just to wear him out.
It sounds like you did lose badly on the other side of that accident, so I think having the cat companionship is probably worth a lot more to you.
Yeah, that's the exact reason why I actually initially adopted Horace, was sort of to get me out of that depressive state. Because if I can't care about myself, I can at least care about another creature.
Statistically,
in the morning.
Shit gremlins, as much as they do their things, statistically, your quality of life goes up just having a cat.
Exactly, because you got another living creature to pour that lack of self-love into.
Yep. It works out.
As much as Horace does sort of then be bonkers, he has brought a lot of joy in my life.
Yeah. Yep, I'd say we feel the same about Therion. What were you going to say, Martin?
I was trying to say I had a list of items that the ranger got as part of starting.
Nice.
But I hadn't got round to it. But
lists are good.
Yeah, lists are good. So, Vilius has a pair of +1 scimitars.
Yep.
They sound cool.
Literally just a curved blade.
Still sounds cool.
Yeah, they are cool.
He also has a cloak of protection.
grinding, Martin.
Yep. A lantern of revealing.
Right.
Message stones.
Yep.
A quiver of the hunt.
Yep. That could be useful for a ranger.
A rope of climbing.
Yep.
Did you say a rope of climbing?
Yep.
What else would a rope be for?
Holding things together.
Skipping.
But could you not use the rope of skipping to be a rope of climbing?
You could, but it doesn't give you bonuses for climbing.
Okay. Alright, I'll take it back.
And you can also use a rope for much more violent things like hanging people.
Oh.
Yeah, a rope climbing is a lot better for a ranger.
I was going to say, I suspect you and I have a very similar dark sense of humour.
Ring of water
I have
walking.
a very pitch black sense of humor.
Yeah, that's about the same. Alright, coffee.
Did you get the ring of water walking?
You're Jesus!
And a composite bow.
Alright, sounds like very useful items.
They are. That's basically a ranger kit out for tier 3.
Alright, good stuff.
Which will give you quite a few nice little things to be able to use for survivability.
Right.
Okay, so do we have a M back? As M's not currently on mute, I just thought I'd see if she was back.
I'm almost done doing my coffee. I'm sorry, I'm just so tired.
That's okay. We just got word from Ross. He's working tonight.
Yes. I think we figured out he wasn't coming.
Well, I thought I'd just pass on the message. Don't always get it back early. Okay, so, Rory, if there was one thing you want your ranger to have but he hasn't already got, what would it be?
I was gonna take some thought. Yeah, I'll have to get back to you on that.
Alright, I'm technically able to talk.
Like, I'm willing to take, say, suggestions, but yeah, that's just me all the time. I'm always open to suggestions.
Okay.
When you say, Martin, name one thing that you'd really like that you haven't got, can you give examples?
Some people have the idea that they really like a specific type of sword, or would love to have a shield, or a magic shield, or would love to have a dragon companion, for instance, was one of the ones that had been responded with.
So, is Thala going to get the same offer?
Yeah. Because Paul wants all his followers to be Fae.
I'm torn. Part of me wants to be able to do magic that I can't do, like healing and sending, but still kind of essentially be a druid. Another part of me wants to be able to change into a dragon, like Calcrix. And I think that's kind of going to be the one that wins. And then my last thought would be to have a dragon companion, depending on what is possible, because I don't know what's possible. But
There is a craft about learning to turn into a dragon.
Okay, so I could...
That is a possibility.
I could move on to turning into a dragon, because that'd be probably what she'd go for. Can she technically acquire scrolls and potions for the healing and the sending?
And magical items that don't use up.
Yep.
Because a potion and a scroll is one use and it's gone.
Yep.
Whereas you can get a wand or a staff or a rod or other items that are more like once a day or...
So my equality wish list is that kind of an item and the going down the learning to be a dragon path. I realise I may not be able to have both, but that's just where my brain's at.
Okay. So, one other thing that you'll also find out with the setting is each character has an elemental alignment that they're attuned to. So you'll see that every person you see portrays one of 5 main elements. What would you think Vilius's attunement would be? Would it be to air, earth, water, fire, or darkness?
I think we discussed this first session I was in, or the last one I was in, and it was air.
Air? Okay. And if you could advance your attunement to air, would you prefer to do that over taking on other elements?
Yes.
Okay, because basically I am working up some stuff in the background to give people things for next session.
Fun things.
Right.
All the fun things.
Well, I'm trying to do still more great stuff while still advance things while I'm doing it. As I had everyone all on the cusp of going into phase 3, I wanted to make it all happen at the same time. Less paperwork for me to keep up.
Well, considering you can spend 40 odd hours upgrading the character, I understand why you feel that way.
Okay. Checking in on Zal again to see if Zal has made it back to us.
If it helps, I've finished making my coffee.
It helps.
I will now take all of a minute or less to drink the whole bloody thing so I can get that caffeine into my brain.
Maybe you should have got you some green tea.
I like...
I was just teasing you.
I can't have a caramel green tea. I can have a caramel coffee.
Why not?
Because I'm not strange like you.
Am I strange for wanting flavour?
Green tea and caramel?
That sounds nice.
Yes, you are strange. But that's okay. I love every bit of strange that you are. I just don't want to drink caramel green tea.
What about butterscotch green tea?
No.
That would be nice.
No.
Yeah, it would.
No. Lemon? Peppermint? Yes. Go together. Sounds great.
We do have peppermint there.
I know, but I've got coffee and it's caramel and I'm happy. Do you dare deprive me of this happiness?
No.
There you go.
Okay, so yes, you have made it to the town of Nemiston.
Can I quickly get you to redo the numbers, the gold, and that for...
You have 100,000 gold pieces
right.
to spend on your people and your lands.
The development of the land, yep.
You'll also each have 20,000 gold to spend on personal improvement.
And then 20,000 for my staff. Right.
And you will have 7 retainers.
Do we get to choose what kind of retainers they are?
You do.
So I could have all druids, all season fae.
Well, they could be all druids and seasoned fae.
Because I want them to all be aligned in different elements, so that they're amongst the 7 of them, there's a balance of all those elements represented. And no, I'm not saying that because on Tuesday we were in a dungeon that was teaching us all about balance and how important it is to this war.
And how the war is about balance being broken.
Yep. I will try and nut out over between our next session what each druid's elements are to try and get that balance, but that's my plans, if that's okay.
That's okay. And they can each be given a role as well.
A role?
Yep, so the basic roles are apothecary, bodyguard, cook, diviner, footpad, healer.
Stop. Cook, diviner. Yeah, no, I got apothecary, bodyguard, cook, diviner.
Footpad.
Footpad. What is a footpad exactly?
Thief.
A thief. Okay.
Another term for thief.
They are actually really helpful. Okay. Yep.
Healer.
Healer.
Interpreter.
Yep.
Minstrel. Porter.
Porter.
Yep.
Yep.
Sage.
Yep.
Smith.
Yep.
Squire.
This is hurting. Squire. Only many more.
Teamster.
Really?
Yep.
Teamster?
Yep.
Teamster.
Yep.
That's going to be the first one to die. Okay, yeah, alright, Teamster.
They're one of the team.
Yeah, that's going to kill them.
And torchbearer.
Okay, and that's it?
Yep.
Thank God. Suddenly Thala's God appears before her. Do I have to roll?
What was that?
Because I thank God.
Well, you didn't damn the gods, so...
No, but you don't differentiate sometimes. Okay, so my 7 retainers could have one of those roles, and it's okay in theory if they have a balance of the elements between them. Okay, cool. And that they're all seasoned Fey druids.
Yep.
Okay,
Or
cool.
druids in training.
Yeah.
Depending on how much you pay for them.
Yep, all good. Alright, on to Nemiston,
Okay.
where we tune into the latest version of Married at First Sight, medieval Dungeons and Dragons style. Emmy and
Well,
Thalius.
they didn't actually get married.
No, I'm joking.
Unless, of course, you want that to happen while Em's away from the screen.
I'm only joking. The only reason I even know that Married at First Sight is a show is because Jess tells me that him and his girlfriend watch it, and I said, what is that? And then I got an education I did not expect.
We have both watched it in the past.
Have we?
Yes.
Okay.
We thought it was ridiculous.
Was it horrific as it sounds?
Yes.
Okay, alright.
It wasn't worth keeping in your memory.
Apologies to all people who enjoy this show.
If they enjoy the show, they probably wouldn't listen to this.
You're right, actually.
Okay, so yes, you're in Nemiston. You are greeted by Zal's friend, Thalius.
Yep.
And the two of them head off somewhere together.
Surely the whole town is following by now.
Quite possibly.
Okay.
As there are cheers as they head off.
Just for a nice change, Thala is definitely going to find somewhere else to hang out. Indeed, I might pay a visit, if I can, to Zalus the Pure.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to come along?
Yes, I'll tag along.
Nice.
Okay. So you see him tending his garden out the front. As you do notice, his is the cleanest looking house on the street.
Well, he's called Zalus the Pure. I'm not surprised.
And the grass is always greener on his side of the fence.
I will ask him if it's okay if I take a seat on his lovely grass.
Just be my guest, he says.
And I will then make myself at home and ask him how's everything.
Well, he has heard that there's upset in his homeland.
What is his homeland?
His homeland is Yalarum.
Oh, this is
The
very
desert
interesting indeed.
Apparently, the Emperor of Thyatus has put a proposition to the Great Sultan to assist in an upcoming war.
Why is this cause defense? The Emperor has...
Well, the Emperor sacked Yalarum many times, and Yalarum considers itself at war with Thyatus.
Okay, so the Emperor of Thyatus, who has previously thumped the crap out of Yalarum, is now saying...
Well, it's been kicked out multiple times for enslaving the people.
Right, and now they're like, we need help.
Well, they want my people to assist with them fighting the Alphatians. We can kick the Alphatians' butt ourselves. Alphatians have also enslaved their people a few times.
I see.
But no one's enslaved them since Al-Qadim stood up and collectively kicked their butts.
Has the Sultan considered just using the Thyatans as cannon fodder then?
In what way?
Well, why send your own men out down on the front line when you can send the Thyatans?
Well, they're not going to war.
Well,
Why would they need to send anyone? They have no control of what the Thyatans do.
what about when Alphatia finishes with Thyatus and comes for Yalarum?
Less likely to come straight for Yalarum, they think.
Okay.
Well, Yalarum is a desolate place to begin with.
And how does the Sultan feel about the Master's incursion in Darrakan?
He finds it troubling because he has a lot of interests in Darrakan.
And when you say interest, do you mean business?
One of the great merchant houses is a Yalarum business.
Okay, alright.
So while it is affiliated with Yalarum, it's based in Darrakan.
Okay. Does the Sultan have any plans to provide support to Darrakan in their fight against the Master?
Well, he has made a pact with a elvish clan to do so.
Ah, well, this is prosperous news.
Some clan by the name of Luel?
Do I know this through my letters from Calcrix?
Yes.
Okay, I'm like, oh, well, you know, my friend was visiting there recently and did tell me of this news. And I recently met some halflings that had come down from the Karamikos mountains to join up and help repel the Master. Do you think many Yalarum peoples, even if they're not in Yalarum, might also do something similar?
Possibly, though, there's a good chance they may take advantage of a distraction to their south.
And what kind of advantage do you mean?
Well, the Thyatans have punished the Yalarums many a time. It's a good chance the Yalarums will take the chance to punish the Thyatans.
Won't that then leave them exposed to the Alphatians then?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
They do have the Norsemen to their north.
Okay.
And from what they've been able to gather, the Alphatians are afraid to go into that region.
Okay. Alright. In my understanding of the world, does Thala... She's against enslavement, but does she feel Thyata has moved beyond, like, it's something they used to do...
They still do it.
But, okay, so they still do it.
And they've now ramped it up. They're enslaving anyone who comes into their territory to fight in their war.
I see. Okay, well, I'm inclined to be sympathetic to Zalist and the Alarums and quote that old saying, they made their bed, they must lie in it, even if it is filled with lice and blood.
Yes. He agrees with that sentiment. They have had a good run over the last 1,000 years since they kicked Alphatia out of their part of the region. Because Alphatia had enslaved this entire region at one stage. So, which enslaver do you want? I don't want the one who's next door.
Well, I have no personal experience of enslavement.
Just ask halflings. They've experienced it many times too.
I do have a good friend who's a part of my group who is a halfling, and I also have a good friend who recently was in Yalarum, Calcrix, as I mentioned, and unfortunately she was enslaved when she was very young. So I'm very much unsympathetic towards slavers.
Yes.
Perchance, I myself are looking at being involved in this war, and I am in need of finding myself some more appropriate tools. Would you know of anywhere where I could gain such items?
What sort of tools are you looking for?
Myself particularly, I'd be looking for either a staff or a wand that might allow me to send messages of urgency and to heal people. But as much as I do not shy away from combat, I also want to keep those I care about alive.
Do you wish to converse with many different people or just a couple?
I would say, for the sake of expediency, just a couple.
Because the cheapest way of communicating with people is called message stones. You have
I
one
see.
stone and the other person has the other, and you can talk over
I
any distance.
see. I see what you mean. Whether or not I want to just have shit. Could I have both options?
Well, the ability to contact anyone is quite expensive.
Sorry, I'll just stop that.
And you could find yourself with expenses you weren't expecting.
Well, my thought with the stone is to either leave it with one of my fellow party members in the case that we get split, or to send it to my good friend who's recently been in Yalarum. But my friend was relating to me a harrowing tale where an army was bearing down upon a city and she had no way to warn that city. And in that case, a sending stone would do me no good.
Unless, of course, you could contact someone who could then contact the city.
That is a good point.
Depending on who you've got as your contact, that can be quite a few different things you can use.
So theoretically, as a player, would that be someone like Redrian?
It would be someone like Redrian.
Could I get 2 sets of sending stones? Because I want to have one for the party and one for Redrian.
You could.
This sounds like a workable and affordable solution. I am very, very much into this idea. I turn to Vilius and I say, have you had any thoughts about how you want to prepare yourself for the upcoming confrontation?
Just make sure I have adequate gear and get a bit of training in.
So, as a ranger, what sort of weapons do you use? Do you favour bow and arrow?
Do favour bow and arrow, and I use 2 short swords.
Because I have a wonderful spell that can help people with arrows.
So your 2 scimitars can be short swords instead of scimitars.
Oh, yeah, right, scimitars. I have all scimitars. They're much cooler than short swords.
You can actually say you've got curved short swords. Works for me.
I think he said he preferred scimitars.
You did prefer scimitars?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Short swords do have more functionality though.
Statistically?
Yeah.
Can you call them scimitars, but they'll essentially be short swords?
I have different rules for each.
Okay, alright. You might have to settle for short swords if you want the better stats.
I'm not in it for the stats, I'm in it for the fun. Scimitars it is.
Now, I was going to say, that's the way you want to go. The more fun, the better.
If I want to get serious, I'll play Dark Souls.
Yeah. Sorry. I've never
have.
technically played the game. I can't because of all the neural damage I've got. I can't press buttons. My hands are numb quite a lot of the time. But I've seen it played often enough for that laugh to be a sincere understanding of what you mean.
Yeah, well, as a player of all 3 Dark Souls games, Bloodborne, Sekiro, and just missed out on Elden Ring because of my injuries. All the literal definition of get good or die trying.
Yep. That's actually a very good not pronunciation, summation.
All I can see is the "you died" screen, and it's just stuck there permanently.
You died.
You died.
And for me, that's about me 100 times over, and then I eventually got good, and that's where it became fun.
Well,
I just wanted to sort of...
Watch out. Yep, sorry.
Okay,
I just wanted to tear every character's throat out for killing me all the time. I get every single game I played, there was only ever one boss I could never beat. Thankfully, it was an optional boss.
That's always nice when it's optional. Most of the time, if I were to play games, it's always the non-optional bosses I struggle the most with. But nowadays, after finally winning with NDIS, I actually occasionally get a support worker to play a game for me, and I just watch them die. It's kind of fun. Not as fun as playing a game, but
we need to do another Stardew Valley session.
Yeah, that's unfortunately that's kind of my level of capacity when it comes to gameplay. But even then, you know, when we used to play Emmy, the numbness in my hands is so bad now that I can't even do Stardew Valley most of the time.
Oh damn!
It's because it's gone from just the ulnar side or just the radial side to both the ulnar and the radial side, and you're like, well,
oh great!
Yay! I'm wearing mittens.
Well, if you got NDIS funding, you could always look into stuff I've been looking into, which is adaptive technology for games.
Yeah, I am looking into that kind of stuff slowly. I'm just trying to win the 3-year battle to get myself a chair I can sit in outside in the lounge room. Once that turns up, I think I'm going to move on to the progressive. It just takes a long time in NDIS to get anything happening. Well, at least on my end.
Yeah, well, thanks to my injuries and the accident I was in, I'm now on both NDIS and another similar funding group that pays for virtually everything the NDIS does. It's called ICAT.
Ah, yeah, I've heard about that.
And yeah, so they cover car accident injuries. And yeah, they've been funding a lot of technology I have.
We have to have a discussion about that non-game day.
Yeah, they've helped me fund a new type of controller that can pretty much let people with just a singular working hand play games like Dark Souls.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, because there's no way in hell I can afford to spend $350 on something like that.
Wait until you have to spend $240 on a sippy cup.
Yeah, no thanks.
The disability, the people on the other side with all the disability products, the money they make out of disabled people, I tell you, it's not ethical.
No, that's cool, but unfortunately at this point necessary.
Yes.
Without them, disabled people like us wouldn't get shit.
No, that's true. I have to say, I trialed my zero gravity chair for all of 10 minutes. And ever since there's a chair I can sit in that doesn't cause me pain the entire time I'm in it. I'm just really excited, even though it's probably going to take another 4 or 5 months to get it.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
At
it's
least it's
the
finally
waiting
happening.
game.
Sorry, what was that, Emmy?
I said at least it's finally happening though.
Yeah, the problem is it's $78 over the budget they allocated. So I have to
That's
go
right,
in
you
for
told me
a
about that
review.
bullshit.
Yeah. So I got to do a full review to get $78. And a part of me is tempted to go up onto Adacare's social media and go, really? You can't drop it $78? It already costs $3,500.
$78 is literally pennies.
Yeah, you're like, you can't give me a 10% discount?
When's your end of financial year sale again?
Yeah, it possibly will come to that. But I said to Christina, the irony is before cost of living went up, I would have happily paid that $78 difference. Because the cost of living's gone up, I no longer have that $78 to spare. She'll get it for me. She will. I just have to be patient. Probably should get back to gaming stuff though.
I was gonna say, I've missed out on probably like almost the last hour of gameplay because Bob's been
Well, Bub's teething, isn't she?
She's teething, she's sick, I'm sick, my shoulder's just gone out, so I'm in a lot of pain right now, and we don't really have good anti-inflammatories in the house, and I was just at the fucking chemist today, and I forgot.
It's a shame you don't live closer, because technically I have all the medications.
I've got some Nurofen stashed away somewhere. I don't like taking it though, because it always makes my stomach. I usually prefer Voltaren.
Take it with some food if you can. It usually helps.
Even with food, it still makes my stomach sore.
Do you have any peppermint?
Maybe somewhere.
Because a peppermint tea or something like that with the Nurofen often helps with the sore stomach.
Okay. I don't have pure peppermint, but I've got a mixed green leaf with it, you know.
Yeah, well, I went on to one of the chronic illness things, and I'm like, I'm tired of the medications I'm taking often making me feel they fix one thing but they break another thing, and someone came on and said try peppermint tea, and I'm like, no way, and then I had it and I'm like, okay, I'm not saying no way ever again. I'm gonna try it before I diss it. So it did work for me because I get stomach cramps from Nurofen as well. Just a really quick summation. You need to develop your 8 Mile hex. So you need to build a village or something like that. Rory's gone with building an animal sanctuary. I've gone with building a coffee plantation, but the coffee beans have healing properties, and it's tended by druids who are also attending a school there. So that's the kind of thing Martin's looking for. Do you have pen and paper nearby?
I don't, but I'm on my computer.
Yep. So you'll get 100,000 gold to spend on your people and your land.
100,000 gold, alright.
Yep.
How many zeros is that again? That many, I think.
5, I'm pretty sure.
2, 3, 4, 5. Oops, I put 6. There you go.
Then you get 20 grand to spend on yourself.
20 on myself.
And you also get 7 retainers. I think you already have 5 Griffin Riders. So
yeah, I do.
You could add 2 other people. It can be anyone. They don't have to be Griffin Riders. You could get 2 Necromancers on board if you really wanted to. Martin gave me a long list of roles they can fill. I'll just go through the list, but I'll send you a text later so you don't have to write it all down. So you can get like an apothecary, bodyguard, cook, diviner, thief / footpad, healer, interpreter, minstrel, so that they can play music while everyone dies, porter, sage, smith, squire, teamster, so that they can go in for the team and die first, and then torch guard. Was that too fast?
No, I got most of that, but I probably will need that list again.
Yeah, well, what I'll do is I'll send you a text when my hands are working a bit better. I've only got like partial feeling in them right now, so I don't think I'm going to fare too well trying to send a text right now. But once they're working, I'll text that over to you. Because I think the idea is that you can spend the next fortnight figuring out whether or not you want 7 entirely different people. Because it might be that those 7 are in addition to your 5 Griffin Rider followers. In which case, your entourage is getting rather large, and I feel like we should have screaming fans greeting you when we arrive into town. Martin will probably clear that up during the fortnight. He might end up doing like a few planning, like not a session, but like he'll set up times to do some planning with people.
Yeah, no, I really need to sort out my character sheet, because I'm pretty sure most of my stats are still from like level 5.
Oh yeah, you definitely want your character sheet sorted out before.
And I don't have like any of my high level spells listed, or any of my perks.
Oh, that's another thing. Martin asked Rory and I if our characters could have one thing it doesn't currently have now. What would that be? So that's something to think about as well.
More wisdom.
More wisdom?
And maybe some more health. I don't know.
I don't know. Wisdom... If you've got more wisdom, perhaps maybe you'll be wise enough not to need more health.
Yeah, maybe. That would be nice. No, I've been like artificially boosting my intelligence is probably easier to artificially boost my wisdom to get it to a usable state.
Can you do that? Can you like stack items to do that?
You have to be attuned to them, so I'm pretty sure we have a spare attunement slot.
Yep. Well, once we hit level 11, you might gain an extra slot, because I'm getting an extra seasonal aspect slot, so I'll have 3 I can use. So that might be a similar version of that, but for a ranger. You're a ranger now, aren't you? No, you're a cleric. Rory's the ranger. And Josh is a paladin. Right, yeah. You watch, in about 5 to 10 minutes time, I'll probably be zipping because I just sculled a coffee. I only got an hour and a half sleep last night. Sleeping tablets finally knocked me out. First time in 4 days, and then I woke up after an hour and a half because nerve pain.
Oh, great.
Huh.
Where am I again? I my stat block. My really, 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 really out of date stat block, but that's fine. I think all my skills and saving throws are correct. I think that's about the only thing I'll be able to update properly. I don't think I've picked up any of my feats or dominion spells that I need or should have taken.
So what are dominion spells?
Not dominion, domain spells. So
I don't know what those are either.
Because I'm a cleric of nature, so there's different.
I see.
Types of clerics.
Yep.
So I'm a cleric of nature. So you get at particular levels, you get additional spells that you can kind of like. I think they're always prepared, so you can cast them at any time. They still take up, I think, that spell slot and what you cast it up to. But they're always prepared, so you don't have to have a list of what you normally keep prepared for the day. They're just always prepared. So, like, my Speak with Animals, for instance, is always a prepared spell through my nature domain.
Sounds like something Rory will need as well if he wants to acquire more animals. So you can get Speak with Animals as a spell, but you can also get it as a ring? Because I've got a ring.
Like what Ross got is I think it's the Ring of Animal Companion, or it's something along that line.
Yeah, because he gave
And
me one.
It has 5 charges, I think, per day.
Right.
But I think it's a ritual cast, so I think it takes 10 minutes to cast. So if you're in combat, it takes whatever the 100 rounds to do.
I think, because I'm pretty sure he gave me, like, he ended up with a spare one, and he gave me one, and I'm pretty sure...
Pretty sure he gave that to Calcrix, though, because it was mine.
Oh, okay.
But I never used it because I had the spell. So I gave it to Calcrix, and I think Calcrix took it.
That's
with her.
right.
So unless she gave it to you, your character.
You're right.
She was getting more use out of the ring because I had the spell, and I didn't really need the ring.
No, you're right. It was given to Calcrix, not me. That's why I was looking for the spell. I have a spell, I think.
Yeah. You have speak about
Yeah, I have a spell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Apologies for that.
That's okay. I just gave Emmy a really quick summation of what you talked about.
Yep.
Also, we reported into Redrin about pilfering, and we're now back in Nemiston, and you are now on a semi-private date with Thalius, while Vilius and I have gone to talk to Zalist the Pure to find out about news in the region, mostly to see whether or not the war has advanced. And also I was starting to ask him about acquiring magical items in the area. So that's where we were up to.
Right.
Well, you can get a Staff of Healing for 500 gold. 5,000 gold.
Okay. A Staff of Healing. And how much were the Sending Stones?
Stones of Sending. Order of the words are important. Would be helpful if the stones were actually there.
Look, that's okay. We can answer that in between games. I'm happy
someone
to.
else also has them, so...
Doesn't Josh have one?
A few
Josh
of you
has
do.
them?
I think I do. I think I have some things.
Because you were sharing one with our public bard in the prisoners.
Who was he sharing them with?
The Disney Christmas bard.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, the setting stone with the Disney princess.
But the Disney princess is no longer with us, so are you sharing them with anyone?
Then I have one sending stone.
It depends on whether or not the GM lets you have had the other one back somehow.
Probably not.
Well, I have no problem with you getting them back because the other character may or may not return.
She could have sent it back to you when she decided to depart with the party.
Would have.
Are you happy with that, Martin?
I don't mind that.
Martin says he's happy with that.
And message stones cost 450 gold a set.
Well, at least that's why it's said. Not just buy one.
So I could foreseeably send one to Calcrix and send one to Redfern.
Yep.
Do you want a soda stream?
Oh, I don't want any more liquid. My stomach's
Yep,
upset.
no, that's
I
fine.
had too much coffee.
No, that's fine.
Oh. So, did Zal or Shogal have anything that they believe their characters would really want to get that they're missing?
Did you want to go through with them how they're going to develop their land?
I was going to do other bits as well.
Okay, I will shut up and stop GMing for you.
That's assuming that they can actually speak at the moment.
They're both kind of on. I
Hello,
can't
Josh.
hear anything now, though.
Hello.
Hello. Does Chevelle have anything Chevelle really wants?
Does Chevelle have anything Chevelle really wants?
World peace!
Or a piece of the world? Is that the same?
Yeah, close. Very close.
Here's a rock.
Yeah.
Hey Google,
Is there like an armory around or?
Well, you will also get some money to spend on stuff. You'll also get some money to spend on a domain. You'll also get, as well as followers, and you'll be able to describe 7 of your followers to be able to help you in your next phase of the story.
Oh yeah.
Because anyone who travels by themselves is generally not going to survive long.
Oh yeah.
Martin.
Yep.
A question with that when Ariana was explaining it. She wasn't sure if that was on top of our current followers or not. So like I have the 5 Griffin Riders.
That will be on top of your 5 Griffin Riders.
Yes.
Because you managed to gain the people from the temple as special troops. And these other ones you're going to have to pay for out of your funding.
Oh yeah.
So a basic follower costs 500, a seasoned follower costs 2,000, and an expert follower costs 5,000. So the difference is basic is like a commoner. A seasoned has probably just passed his training to become an actual class, and a expert has decided that adventuring was too much for them and retired, and you've convinced them to come out of retirement.
Interesting.
That's not,
And fully agree with price tag.
but they won't be equivalent to you in character status. They'll just give you bonuses to help you do stuff. Oh. But you are in Nemiston, and Zal is off on a private date.
Private date. Love it. Very funny.
Well,
I don't have my chaperone to stop me.
I guess having the third date being private is probably better than always in the public eye.
As I said, no chaperone.
Damn it! You don't have the no touches.
Okay. So what is Chevelle doing while everyone else is off doing stuff?
What's the date?
It is probably 1 to 2 days to the time of the trial.
Okay, cool.
They returned you to Nemiston so you wouldn't miss the trial.
Yay! I'm going to Phoenix write this. It's going to be very interesting. Objection.
So which bit are you going to object to?
Nah.
The fact that he's been charged, or the fact that he's guilty of something?
I'll figure that out when we get there. Chevelle's going to have a wander around town and have a look through like some of the stores and stuff.
Okay.
So, are we up to charging the poor man?
Not quite yet.
Okay.
So yes, you have a good look around the town. Everyone's a bit subdued, having heard stories of the loss of the one of the major cities of Darrakan. So one of the 6 cities fell, and it fell because someone dropped a tree a mile wide on it.
Can you explain that a bit more in terms of...
A big ass tree fell on the city.
So...
That's the description that most of the people in town are using.
Do they describe it as being on this island? They just say a big tree fell on it.
Yep.
But
a mile wide tree is a fairly big tree.
Okay, so it is. They do say a mile wide tree. And do they accompany all the death that came with it? Like all the Darrakans that died and the heroic push of one of those groups to this group of adventurers, of which there was a white dragon with black scales who was harrying and keeping the horrible plague at bay while they were getting the last of the innocent citizens over the border and into safety?
It would be helpful if they did, but they didn't.
They didn't hear about us?
No.
Calcrix Felix has a big wrong in this world, but she's in the wrong game.
But I'm sure Thala could explain it to them if Thala wasn't already busy.
Thala's not busy.
She was.
Thala explain that to them.
Thala was in the middle of talking to the Thalius the Pure.
Oh, I thought we'd finished.
No, I was saying what Josh was doing while that was happening.
Oh, while we're at... Oh, okay, sorry.
All good.
I will blame that for me going back to the kitchen to slightly tidy up my coffee mess so that I didn't have to deal with the coffee mess tomorrow morning.
We do have someone coming in to clean tomorrow.
There's a person on. Oh, okay. I take it back. I'm cease on my cleaning duties.
Okay, so having had people talk about it but not actually know the facts, does Chauvel decide to educate people on what happened, having heard from Thala and Calcrix?
Please, if I have to roll a die for Chauvel to remember that.
What am I remembering again? Sorry.
So Thala would have told you that they got a letter last game. And in the letter, Calcrix describes what happened at Darrakan when the Master arrived. And she describes a mile-wide planar tree being used by an evil mage of some sort to annihilate the entire city of... I can't remember how to pronounce it. I think it's Akasol, which is a major city in Darrakan, and how herself plus her true friend, her friend Tolicus, her friend Drachma, Drazzle, the Dragonborn that is here as well as there at the same time, who's the other person in that group? Lani, who's this islander. She's this really brave fighter type. I think I've got everyone. Lani.
Luel.
And Luel, a shadow elf.
And the Etrugan.
Who's the Etrugan?
Jeremy.
Yeah, Drachma.
Okay,
Drachma's the Etrugan. So what we did in the description, and Thala played all this out for you because she was so surprised by it, was that they were literally running across this field, and once they reached like the finish line, they were in safety. The Master could go no further. And there were all of these poor innocents being left behind, and this group and a bunch of Darrakan soldiers all put their lives on the line to keep picking up, babies that were falling over and children that have been left behind. They're stopping and they're picking them up and they're pushing them on and they're getting them there. And even despite that, the bit that Thala was crying at the end of the letter was that Calcrix is describing that the people they weren't able to save and how they died really horrifically, and how she felt so powerless and helpless because these were women and children and old men They weren't. They were just people, and they were dying these really horrific deaths because of this man. And so that's the story Thal's hoping is being passed around here, so that these people realise that the threat that's coming for them
Is real.
is not just real, it is inescapable, and when it comes, it's going to be 100 times worse than you can imagine. She
Yeah.
rolled a 20 for that. She rolled a 20. Thala rolled a 20 describing it to Zal. Because I wrote it in my book. I'm like, 20! And it's got these little sort of
Sparkle.
sparkles around it, little fire. Because I rolled it. It wasn't a natural 20, but it was a 20. Sorry if I'm over the top tonight, guys. I think between the ADHD, the lack of sleep, and the coffee, and all my joints.
Well, better to deal with it through humour, right?
Brain? Oh, crap.
Well, we understand, yes. All good. So, yes. What would Chauvel like to do?
On the brain damage.
Sorry, what was that?
I missed that last bit.
Just blame it on all the brain damage.
Blame it on all the brain damage.
Blame it on all the brain damage. I don't technically have brain damage, but do you mean brain damage acquired in your accident?
I was, not just that, but I was just trying to make a Futurama joke.
Oh, yeah. No, okay, I get you.
Yeah, brain damage.
Dablage,
Yeah,
yep.
they all crash.
Yep. Every single one of them. Worse than not Microsoft's systems. Did I actually make a witty? No. Am I talking gibberish now?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. If I start talking gibberish, warn me.
Don't worry, you said you had ADHD, so we can just blame it on all the faulty systems.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. If I keep getting up away from the table, it's because my joints are screaming at me and I just have to move. I try to kind of keep myself calmer for sessions, but don't always succeed.
Well,
I just...
I'm in the same boat for different reasons.
Yeah. I have a feeling we have war stories that we could swap. And
Another time would be great.
I think outside the game's probably better. I was going to say that
definitely.
anyway.
Okay.
Let's get back to more of the task at hand.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Chauvel, you're in town hearing everyone comment on the tree, but leaving out most of the details.
I will attempt to fill in the details if I can remember.
Okay. I'm happy for you to make a performance roll to see if people pay attention.
Performance roll.
I can't assist because I'm not there.
Yeah.
Why do you like hurting me this way?
Well, you were busy.
It's torturous. I was helping out.
Performance roll.
You are helping out. You're talking to someone of importance.
It's because there's no one else to play.
There's
Alright,
a
Emperor
19.
of Furnace.
So 19, yes, a lot of people seem to start adding your influence to the story as it passes around town. And people keep talking about the white dragon with the jazz wings.
Did they mention the black scales?
No.
Okay, that's interesting.
Well,
I'm okay with that. I just...
it's Chauvel's best memory of Calcrix.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I just... Because I know Zal has become aware of the black scales and Zal is concerned about what that means. But Chauvel's not as aware, so I'm fine with no mention of it. Just curious, that's it.
Okay, and so yes, after that you run into Thala, Vilius, and Zal in the street. What would you like to chase up now?
I let them know that Zalus has given us some contacts for magical items. So if we want to pursue those, that's an option. And I also update him in the sense that news of interest in terms of the progress of the wars that we're in amongst now. The Empress of Thatest asked the Sultan of Yalarum to aid them in the battle against Alphatia. Zalus pointed out that he felt that getting a request from the people who enslaved their people to help them fight another country that also enslaved the Yalarums was probably a bit much of an ask, and they're going to decline that invitation and maybe seek out to support a quest of more... I can't think of the right word right now.
Retaliatory.
No, not retaliatory. A quest of a more deserving quest, such as keeping back the Master from overtaking Darrakan, because that also lines up with the fact that Yalarum have merchants in Darrakan and they want to save them too. And that's just background stuff that might be useful later as we go through the war.
But at least they're up to speed on that part.
Mm.
Okay. How did Zal enjoy his time off with his date?
We had a very lovely private date without a pokey stick.
Was there a first kiss? Come on, tell me there was a first kiss.
I'll leave that up to your imagination. Wink, wink.
Aww. I'm a chronicler. I want a love story for my tree. Just lie.
Lots of sideways winks.
Yeah.
Wink, wink, say
yeah.
no more.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to explain this language to my tree, you realise?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
You're chronicle a lot, right?
I figure since I'm going to be chronicling a lot of war, I see this love story as this precious moment of time that my tree in hundreds and hundreds of years to come will be able to come and view this little bit of light in this world that's going to go very dark.
Mm.
I did say I'm a dramatic ADHD coffee run druid elf, so I might be smoking other herbs. So this suits my dramatic nature, right? Shit, I turn into Axbeaks just so that I can run around and play with them. So
Okay, so
I mean, as long as Zal's had a look over your medicinal herbs, as a cleric that that should know about that. Keeping his party healthy.
well, if not healthy, you could always just resurrect them as some form of undead afterwards.
so many undead jokes right now.
Less
I don't
provisions
remember.
required.
I would really like to not resort to that. That's fine.
Well, you do have a book all about that.
Oh no. And conveniently, the bookmate that my current date gave me is bookmarking a page in that book.
Yeah, so the book about making friends, literally. At least it's not a flesh golem.
That's where I'm going wrong. I've got to go to Stephanie next Thursday and tell her I've solved all the isolation, abandonment, and lonely issues. I need to learn necromancy, raise friends from the dead, never lonely again.
Win-win.
Yeah, I see no disadvantages to that solution.
And a permanent helper.
Exactly.
That doesn't complain. Probably.
Depends on what
Maybe
level of
maybe runs
undead.
at you.
Vampire counts as undead.
That's true.
Depends on if it sparkles.
Mm.
Alright, so we
Please,
essentially finished with Zalust and we're moving on?
We have. And so yes, Chauvel eventually makes his way her way over to the courthouse and finds out that there's quite a list of charges against the homeless guy that you had brought to the attention of the authorities.
Oh.
You started this. Zal reminds.
There's over 300 separate counts of crimes.
I found a master criminal.
Ranging from espionage to treason.
Oh.
Interesting. For a poor person that was just sitting in the street in the middle of a town that they really don't want to have those charges put against them.
Looking through it, it appears that the person that you accused is a servant of the master.
Oh wow. Good catch.
And basically the body he possesses is not his own.
Sorry, say that again.
The body the spirit he's possessing is not his own.
Whose
So
body?
basically, the charges that this dude is getting is probably the spirit that's editing him?
Well, the previous spirit was destroyed, so a new one could be housed in the body.
Oh, so that person's like
Dead.
I thought I was listening to this, but my brain has just gone, what?
There was story.
Yeah, that's what we're all saying right now. You what?
Can you explain it to the dumb girl in the group?
So the master of the desert nomads had infiltrated lots of different places using people that weren't really people anymore.
So they're using necromancy.
And possession and summoning.
Okay, alright. And that pertains even back to this little...
So this person that you found who was just idly sitting near the seat of government for this town
was possessed.
is possessing a body of someone that had been killed to free.
What on earth in the fate of all dice places that man right there when we need him?
Well, there's probably...
Mm-hmm.
You have the feeling that they're probably in every major town of the region.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for advancing my poor little...
And how many people are going to accuse the homeless guy who's probably been there in town for longer than the spirit possessing it has of being a plant?
The paladin who literally just rocked up and was like, you. Oh yeah.
Paladins generally have a sense of right and wrong, whether they understand it or not.
The paladin is actually.
I definitely didn't understand it.
And you're down as the only person willing to defend this person who has the spirit itself has hundreds of counts of torture, rape, and murder.
I think this one might actually not be defendable. You just might want to be making sure that the truth comes out.
Yeah.
I mean, no one said the defense had to be perfect, right?
No.
Question. Why haven't you smite him already? Just out of curiosity. Like, isn't Cheval's usual decision-making tree here evil man, raising dead, possessing bodies, evil, head explodes, lightning flashes out of nowhere, he incinerates and burns to death?
Because he had an ulterior motive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a good chance that destroying the body in that way will not destroy the spirit.
Yeah.
Which kind of felt that falls.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we know that.
Well, this way, if I still manage to fail in defense, at least I have a little bit more information on the other fiend that's apparently making decisions here.
Mm.
And
And that we know what to look out in other major cities.
Mm-hmm.
and the fiend who's helping find the crimes was quite thorough, because it even goes down to pinching apples from apple carts and things like that.
Wow, that is very thorough, Rakasha.
That sounds more like the homeless man. before
Raksesha.
the dude
Well, actually, it separates body and soul as separate items, and it considers the body to be too petty to try,
Fair enough.
as it doesn't.
The person who was alive was actually not that bad.
He was basically just someone who was lazy. His biggest crime was laziness, which in a country of merchants is almost a crime in itself. So if you're found being too lazy, you might be sentenced to do work.
Off to the fields with you.
Or
Oh no,
the standard ones are cook for the poor and feed the poor.
So is he actually undead?
No, the body's still alive, just the spirit's been destroyed.
Okay.
It's like what?
To simplify this for hands that are hurting, is there a name for what he is?
Possessed.
Okay.
It may be possible to reunite the spirit with the body, but that's if you know where the spirit was possessed.
So would I say possessed by now evil spirits?
By an evil spirit, yes.
Yep.
And the evil spirit is at least 500 years old.
Why is it always 500 years?
Because this has been going on for a long.
Nice
long,
round
long,
number.
long time. Yeah.
Well, most people don't go back beyond that because that's considered a long time, even for an elf.
Okay, so you get to deal with this guy in court.
Mm-hmm.
And the government official, Thaddeus, is asking, how would you like to plead this case?
How would I like to please case?
The spirit is guilty.
Yeah. Not quite, but I will try and scratch some of the minor offences off the record, like the loitering that I managed to pick him up off the streets for.
Well, the loitering has been tied into the treason and espionage, as the person was loitering outside of government offices to gain secret information to then pass on. As apparently most of the other agents are doing similar things around the country.
Yep. All right. I will go along the defense lines of basically like pleading insanity for this poor gentleman and saying how there's an evil spirit inside the body that's not the human that's actually here and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. I'm sure that will go down nicely. And I'm sure all possessed bodies are considered innocent until doing guilty stuff.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so after going through the long list of charges, some of which the perpetrator, the innocent victims have long since perished due to old age.
Sorry?
For some of the crimes, the person it was committed against has died of old age.
Can you text me the address you're at? I'll be there in 10 minutes.
I guess we've got something happening on
Can
this
you
end.
text me the address you're at? I'll be there in 10 minutes.
Okay, so we may end up wrapping this up to see if we can sort something out.
No, text me the address you're at. I'll be there in 10 minutes.
Okay, so we've got something happening on this end. So we might say call that a night now and catch up with you guys next session. But you will be level 11 and heading off into a war. And how would Shofal like to tie off his defending of the guy?
I can't do 2 phone calls in one.
Objection, Your
I'll
Honor.
figure it out. You're at what, Garland 24-hour vet?
Just ignore everything I just said.
Yeah, to ignore everything I just said, I'm now part of the,
Just sec. Phone.
Oh.
I'm on the phone.
Okay, so I will see you all next session, and expect to be having a few wars happening. Many little wars happening, including the Master. And
sounds good.
I'll see what I can do to help out the crisis happening on this end.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry for the abrupt finish, guys.
No, that's alright.
It was
We
okay.
understand when something's come up.
And hopefully,
Alright.
hopefully Rory will be able to make us next session and feeling not too bad with the weather changes. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Okay.
Fingers crossed. We'll see what happens.
Okay. So
Well, I'll just take care until next time.
okay. Till next time. Bye, guys.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Bye.